Okay, it looks like it's gonna work now. So, for those of you watching this on YouTube Live or being notified that it's going YouTube Live, I apologize if this isn't working out well. I don't get any notifications, and when I pull up YouTube Live, sometimes all of a sudden it's different, which is what happened tonight. It was absolutely different, and we'll see if I'm running this correctly. They like to change things up last minute. Kind of messes with me. I'm not too tech savvy, so sometimes it takes me quite a little while to get stuff figured out and get it back on track again. So I don't know. I don't get YouTube Live. I really don't. So if you got any comments or anything like that you want to throw up here on the screen, feel free to go ahead and do that. I won't be able to type and respond, but I will see them and I will respond. I'll respond live. I just can't type in there. So, okay, let's see. Let's get this thing started here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the War Room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back. Once again, we are tucked away in the War Room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And it's just me again tonight. No problem. I'm getting used to doing this by myself, so it's no issues there. I hope everyone's had a great week. If you live in the local area here where I'm at, I hope you've been enjoying our nice, cool fall-like weather. I know it's absolutely fantastic. I had a class today, and honestly, I didn't look at my phone, but I think the high temp was probably about 68 degrees, and it was like little to no wind, and absolutely 100% beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Perfect day for a class. Kind of had a small class, but they were all great shooters. It's not too often that I get a class in here where everyone can actually shoot. Can actually shoot, where everyone actually has shot before, right? Before they come to class, and they've kind of got it somewhat figured out. It was a really nice change up. I love helping new shooters. It's a lot of fun and I enjoy it tremendously, but today everyone could shoot and everyone could shoot pretty well. Kylan, 100 degrees there, Kylan, in North Carolina. That's what Kylan had to throw out there. But it's nice here. It's really nice here. In fact, I swear the leaves on my trees are starting to change color a little bit. But I think we're supposed to be back up into the 90s this next week. So it is what it is, short-lived as usual. But like I said, the class today, the shooters were really good. Real fun group, enjoyed it tremendously. So there was a gal there. She's probably not listening to the podcast, but she had one of those little tiny Kimber 380s. And most people that I've seen that have had they're little guns, like they can disappear in both hands. They can't shoot it real well. She shot that thing absolutely perfect. She kept burying the shots in the same hole. She was stacking shots all class, and she did it for 100 rounds. And those little guns like to beat people up. So I was very, very impressed. Very impressed with her ability to shoot that firearm. So if she's listening, keep up the good work. She'll know who she is if she's listening. I doubt she's listening, but just in case. So I know I keep kind of rubbing my nose and stuff, but I tell you what, we've been absolutely horribly smoky around here. I mean, fires coming in from Oregon and California, and fires burning here in our own state. And it is driving my allergies absolutely insane. I mean, we need some rain here, get the smoke out of the air. But let me look here. I'm trying to be organized because it's just me again this evening. So we're looking here. Let me look here. Okay, well, you know what? We got some breaking news. Let's play some breaking news. We won't even start with the little news. We'll start with the breaking news because, well, I probably should have jumped on and said something about this yesterday, but here we go.
We said some breaking news that is going to affect a lot of you out there. Basically, the Biden administration just released some new sanctions, and one of those is on Russian manufactured ammo. So right now in the U.S., approximately 40 to 45% of all ammo sold here in America is made in Russia. And of course, that tends to be the cheapest stuff, the Tula, the Wolf, the Bernal, etc. And what that does is it helps keep ammunition prices down, right? It's a competitive force in the market. And it looks like that's going to go away here shortly. So just reading from the actual sanctions itself, it says the sanctions include restriction on the permanent importation of firearms or ammunition manufactured or located in Russia pursuant to new or pending permit applications. And then it says new and pending permit applications for the permanent importation of firearms and ammunition manufactured or located in Russia will be subject to a policy of denial. So if you don't know, basically, in order to import ammunition into America, you need to have an approved form from the ATF. They approve that form, then you can import it. And right now it's saying right here, if it's manufactured in Russia, they will deny it. So again, right now, if you look around as of when I'm filming this video, there's AK ammo out there for 29 cents a round, 35 cents a round. That's probably the cheapest it's going to be for years, because the reality is the U.S. manufacturers, if this policy stays in place, will pick up the slack, but that takes time. And it's just going to take a while, unfortunately. So if you're looking to pick some up for the next couple of years, I'd probably buy it now. That's my advice to you anyway. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, links for it should be on my Facebook page, as well as Telegram.
Oh, there you go. You don't need to know about where I found that clip. No, actually, I found that clip off of YouTube. It's kind of where I go for all my news. But there you go. Biden is banning the import of Russian ammo for at least a year. And then, I think he goes on to say that for at least a year. And so that happens, that usually when they do something like that with ammo, it never comes back. So I think he said that was about 40% of the ammo that we can get today is imported from Russia. That is a huge deal. That is a huge deal. Just right now, when we are just now starting to get our ammo back, we're just now starting to get our ammo back on the shelves. The prices are coming down a little bit. And, having imported ammo imported from Russia, would help keep prices down to a certain extent. Now, with that going away, he's cutting into the ammo that's coming back. So is this how he's going to help regulate or is this how he's going to help destroy the Second Amendment? He's not necessarily going after the guns right now. He's going after the ammo. Well, they're going to nitpick at every direction that they can find, right? A little here, a little there. This is just one of those directions. If he can cut down the ammo that is actually starting to come back in stock now by banning the importation of Russian ammo, then we're all in trouble. We're all in trouble. So I don't want to see another ammo panic, because I need to restock. I haven't restocked for quite a while, but I'm telling you, I think it might be coming. And without having to jump into a lot of political stuff, I actually think I see another lockdown coming. I think all this stuff is coming. I think you give it a month, if that, and I think it's going to get bad again like it was last year, honestly. Are guns going to be hard to come by again? Possibly. Is ammo going to go up in price and become scarce? Possibly. And at this point, it'll probably go up in price a little bit, since they're taking and getting rid of half the market. So that's essentially almost half the competition, right? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. And I always want to let you know, too, that the episode tonight might be just a little short. Todd got a little busy toward the end of this week. The weather was cooling off. Kids are back at school. Vacations are over. And my phone is ringing again. Thank you, Lord. Okay. Thank you, Lord. The phone is ringing again. And I'm getting people sign up for classes. I kind of got a little busy. I know I went ahead and scheduled another women's group class starting in September, and I'm really excited about that. So two of the people that I'm jumping all over the place today, by the way, two of the women that were in my concealed carry permit class today one is a recent graduate of one of my women's shooting academy classes, and the other one is currently enrolled in one. So she's in the middle of it. I tell you what, it is so much fun. And it makes me so proud and feel so good to see these women that they came to me. They had these guns. They didn't even know how to rack the slide. They didn't even know how to load a magazine, right? They've been taking some of these classes from me, and they've learned, and they've gained confidence, and they're they're more comfortable around them. And then they sign up for this permit class, and they come to the permit class, And man, they can shoot well. They're confident. They don't have to ask a lot of questions. I mean, I'm there if they need me, but they know what they're doing. They don't feel intimidated by the gun. They don't feel intimidated by others in the class. It's absolutely fantastic feeling for me just to kind of see them succeed, right? They succeed in wanting to know how to use their firearm, and they're moving on, and they're taking the next step. They're learning to draw and shoot. They're getting their permit. They're confident. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, so much so that one of them is shooting one of those little Mossberg, I forget what it is, like Mossberg something SC1s or whatever it's called. I forget the exact model. And she almost won the bullseye competition. I have a bullseye competition at the end of every class, and she almost won, right? I mean, she lost by just a hair. And so I was pretty proud of her. And she's maybe put couple hundred rounds through that gun. That's all she's ever shot. So I was real. I had an incident. Well, I heard of an incident. A friend of mine actually was on the phone with me earlier this week. He called me out of nowhere, and we were just chatting. And I'm not going to throw any names out there or anything. I kind of was laughing about the whole situation, and I got to think how bad this could have gone. But he was on the phone with me, and he was picking up his kid from school. His wife was out of town, and he called me from his car, and he's waiting to pick up his child from school. And people, I guess, when you go to some schools to pick up your kids, sometimes at the very beginning of the year, it's just a complete mess, right? It's a complete mess. Parents don't know where to park. Some are parking, some are waiting in line. They don't want to get in trouble. There's a whole system, and lots of people like to mess that system up. And as he's on the phone, he keeps cussing and hollering and yelling that these people are cutting him off. They're cutting him off. They're driving by him. They're getting in the front of the line. He's waiting in the line. He's confused. They're confused. Everyone's confused. And the next thing I know, I hear him say, "Hang on a minute." And I hear him open, he's cussing, and he opens his car door. And I'm like, oh, this isn't going to go well. And I hear him walk up to this other car, and he's kind of yelling, and the person gets out, and they're like, "I don't know where I'm supposed to go." And they're upset, and he's upset. And they're going back and forth a little bit, and he gets back in his car, and he's like, "This is ridiculous. I can't believe this is happening. No one's paying attention to the lines in the road," and anything like that. And meanwhile, I'm thinking in my head, I know this guy has a permit. I know this guy can still carries a handgun. So here's my thoughts, right? I mean, he didn't use his handgun. He just kind of got into a verbal, not even an altercation so much, but just kind of a verbal. He was verbally upset. And he was stating how upset he was and his dissatisfaction of what was going on. But man, if he'd had a handgun, right? Granted, he's at a school, but imagine if he's not at a school. Imagine if he was just in town, right? Maybe it was road construction or something like that. And you get out and you are showing a little bit of road rage, maybe. You're a little bit upset. And you lift your arm up to wave it in the air or whatever, and someone sees that you have a handgun, right? That's not a good thing. I think that you really need to, now we're all human, but I think if you're going to carry a firearm, you really need to be careful with what you do. Because if you had a handgun, and even if he didn't draw the handgun or threaten to use the firearm, if it was on him and someone saw it, that would have gone bad. That could go really bad for him. So we need to be really aware as concealed carry holders that when we're out and about, like, we need to not make sure we don't get involved in certain things, right? You want to try to have as even killed temper as you possibly can. You don't need to run into a situation looking to use your firearm, and maybe some situations where you wouldn't use your firearm, you just need to stay out of, right? I mean, it's a choice, right? We all have to make the choice. There is going to be a risk involved. So he made a choice, and luckily he was okay, and nothing came of it, from what I could tell. I mean, I saw him today, and everything was good, right? He didn't use his firearm. He didn't get his firearm out. He never had to. He probably never even thought twice about it. But that's the thing. We carry these firearms around. We need to remember that we possibly have this firearm on our person. And if someone sees us getting upset, and then they see that we have a gun, they see it printing. Like I said, our shirt, our coat rides above it, whatever it is, that could go south for us really quickly. And when you carry a gun, you need to be about the nicest person out there, right? You want to step in front of me in the line? Go ahead, go in front of me in the line. I mean, you don't want to show signs of getting upset or show signs of anger, because honestly, bad things could happen. And it's one of those things too, that if you are a person that can anger easily, that comes to anger easily, and you have a little bit of a temper, carrying a firearm might not be for you. So we just need to remember that we're being watched. There's people around us, and people can get the wrong idea, right? As when we carry a gun, we need to make sure we're an upstanding citizen and that we don't put ourselves in any situation where we might have to use that firearm, on purpose or even by accidentally, right? We definitely don't want to do that. So if he's listening, he'll know who it is, and I'm not picking on him. And firearm issue never came up or anything like that. It's just something that I was thinking about as I was listening to him kind of get upset at the situation. I was like, man, I wonder if I don't think he does, but I wonder if he's got his firearm on him because that's not a good situation to be in, and someone sees it. So, speaking of that, I have a firearms. Go figure. Speaking of firearms, we're a gun show. Speaking of firearms, I got some news here. Let me pull it up on my phone. Come on. And it's thinking. Let's see here. Oh, that's not the right one. Let me find it here. I take notes on my phone all day long, especially when it comes to the podcast. So let me pull this one up here. This is about it says AR-15 pistol. AR-15, a pistol, and ammo was stolen from an Atlantis cop's car while he worked an off-duty security job. It says someone stole an AR-15 rifle, pistol, ammunition, and tactical gear from an Atlanta Police Department officer's personal car this month while the officer was working at an off-duty security job, the department said. The thief took a department-issued AR-15, 530-round magazines, the officer's personal 9mm pistol, and a bag full of police gear on August 2nd. The car had been parked at the public shopping center for nearly 6 hours while he worked the off-duty job. He discovered the theft when he returned to the parking lot to put a stool in his trunk. The officer found the two bags of two guns had been stolen, along with his tactical vest, gas mask, and helmet. The officer's ticket books and fingerprinting kit and some administrative paperwork were also missing. So there you go. Hopefully they find that stuff, right? Hopefully they find that stuff and they get it back. But there you go. So we talk about this all the time. It can happen to anyone, even a law enforcement officer, right? They're not perfect. As much as they'd like to kind of tell everyone that some of them like to tell everyone that they're perfect and they're better than us, they're not. Stuff still happens and they do make mistakes, right? But that's no excuse. I mean, you don't use your car as a safe. Your car is not a safe. Okay. If you carry your gun on you and you go to a place where you cannot have your firearm, what do you need to do with it? You need to lock it up. You need to put it in a safe that is attached to your car somehow, whether it be underneath your seat, bolted to the floor, whether it be strapped or chained or cabled to your seat base, right? You can put your firearm in the safe. It needs to be in the safe. The safe needs to be locked, and it needs to be pushed out of sight. Okay. If you've got something big like a bunch of rifles, you've just got back shooting, don't go to the mall. Don't go to your next job. Leave them at home. So essentially what has happened now is if someone breaks into your vehicle or even your house, but we're talking about your vehicle right now, and they have easy access to your firearm, because I guarantee you there's people that walk around and look in vehicles to see what there is to see and see what they can steal, see what they can do a smash and grab on. If they take your firearms, so essentially you aren't necessarily going to be in trouble for that, but now you've just armed a bad guy, and he may take that gun and he may use it in a crime. He may use it in a murder, right? He may shoot someone with your gun. You've just armed evil, right? You've just armed a bad guy. We need to be more responsible for that. This officer needed to be responsible. In fact, if I go on an article and read, it says he kind of broke department rules by leaving that stuff in his vehicle, his personal vehicle. So we need to be responsible. You have that firearm, you do need to be responsible for it. You need to make good choices and lock the thing up. And even if it's in your house, right? I know around here where I live, there's been a lot of burglaries, a lot of break-ins lately, and a lot of different, even houses right around where I live, right? Lock everything up. When you're not home, when you're not using it, lock stuff up. If you've got small children, your firearm should be locked up anyhow, but lock that stuff up, man. I've taken to even putting my computers in my gun safe, right? It's got my business on it. My life's on these things, right? They're expensive. I don't want to have to replace them. I lock that stuff up. I hope no one breaks into my house, but if they do, I'm going to make them work to get my stuff. So you just don't leave it laying around. There's a ton of firearms being stolen all over around here. And then, nationwide, they're being stolen, obviously. I know another story of a law enforcement officer who his patrol car vehicle was parked in his driveway. So was his personal vehicle. It was at night. He went to bed. He left his personal handgun in his personal vehicle. Even with his patrol car sitting right there, someone went and they broke into his car and they took his gun. There's no reason for your firearm to be left in your car overnight. Just because you're too lazy to go out and get it and be responsible with it. If you can't be responsible with your firearm, you shouldn't have a firearm. Being responsible with it means knowing where it is at all times. What if a kid had gotten into your car? What if you would send your son to go out and get your wallet you left in your vehicle and he finds your gun, and now a small hands and a child has access to your firearm all of a sudden, right? That's not a good thing. We need to be responsible. Let's see what else I got here. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I got the Tactical Performance Center coming down, and they are using my range I'm hosting them for 3 days. They have a 3-day class. I'm getting really excited about that. Love to see them guys again. Had a great time when I went down to Arizona and took some classes with them. So it's a big weekend coming up over here at Patriot Defense. Hope the weather works out. Hope it's not 158 degrees. In fact, today, this weather would be absolutely perfect. If it was this temperature for the 3 days they were here, that would be absolutely fantastic. So, hey, I wasn't going to mention it, but I know a few weeks ago I mentioned about, possibly wanting to know if people were interested in me starting up a Patreon account. And I got lots of comments and lots of feedback, and I sure do appreciate it. And so I have decided to go ahead and open up a Patreon account. And for those of you that don't know what that is, what that is it's an account that I open up and I put some extra content on it. And for you to access that, it's like a couple dollars a month or whatever price I set or whatever price you want to put, you feel like donating every month to the cause. And I've actually got one of those in progress. I got my account set up. I've got some videos and stuff. I'm just in the middle of editing those and getting those up there. And when I get it all finalized here, hopefully this week, I will let everyone know when it goes public. And if you feel like you have ever gotten any value out of this podcast, and you would feel like supporting me or supporting the podcast in any way, you definitely can take a look at that. And I'll be putting in content in Patreon every month extra besides this podcast. I haven't decided exactly what kind of content. I know I'm going to put some instructional type videos on there for sure. I've already got those recorded, but so it's like I said, it's a work in progress. Hopefully I can finish it up this week and get it up there. And just know, I do appreciate any support I get. I'm not begging for money. I'm not trying to be a millionaire. In fact, this is this is hard for me to even want to put a Patreon up. It really is. I work for what I get, and I don't know. But if you guys get some value out of it, fantastic. And I do appreciate the support. The podcast is not free. It's not super expensive, but it's not free, right? I mean, I probably got about $1,000 in equipment sitting here that I purchased over time. And, I do need to make some upgrades. There's a fee every month for hosting the podcast. There's all kinds of stuff that's involved. And right now, I said the podcast is free, and the actual podcast will always be free. If you feel like kicking in a little, you can check out the Patreon. I'll get it finalized this week, and I will put a link up, and you guys can go check it out and decide if it is for you. And if it is not, I'm fine with that. I really value just listening to the podcast. I value your comments and your feedback, and I just enjoy doing this. A little help would be nice, but I do enjoy doing this. Not a problem at all. So, one more thing I want to touch on, and I did tell you that this podcast is probably going to be a little short. I got some stuff. I got to go tomorrow and hopefully my 16-year-old son is hopefully going to be purchasing his first vehicle tomorrow. And I'm really proud of him. He worked hard all summer. He's got his money saved up. He found a car sitting in a field, and it's just chip off the old black block. He's kind of like his old man, right? We don't buy cars from lots. We don't buy cars out of driveways. We go pull them out of farmers' fields. Much to my wife's dismay, we're going to go check out a car that he found and see if we can make an offer and see if we can drag it home with us tomorrow. So that's why this is a little short. I got to get a bunch of stuff prepared for that. But I am taking these classes. I've mentioned taking these online classes to help market my business and kind of that kind of stuff. So I didn't really go to college very much. Didn't get any extra schooling. So I consider this my extra schooling, right? For my business. And I like it because I don't have to take the algebra and all that English and all that other garbage that all the other required stuff that other people had to. I made my own way, and now I'm the school of hard knocks at this point, trying to catch up and learn some of this stuff. But anyhow, I was listening to, and I think I mentioned this before, but I just keep going back to it. This guy was talking about the instructor, right? It was talking about marketing and tell us about how when he markets, you can market to certain levels of people or certain types of people for he uses gets in his firearms classes. And he wants the experienced ones. He wants the tactical type ones, right? The ones that know what they're doing. He doesn't want to deal with new shooters. He doesn't want to deal with negligent discharges or anything like that. He basically came out and said he doesn't want to get shot. So he wants experienced shooters. That's who he That's who he markets his business to. Well, you know what? I got to thinking, who do I want to market my business to? And I've come up to, and I'm watching those two ladies in my class today that I've taken from non-shooters to buying their first gun to getting as far as they have today and being confident. I absolutely love new shooters. And I know I can teach all kinds of stuff, but I'm really going to start marketing my business, I think, toward new shooters. They are by far my favorite shooters. They really are. I love having people call me that say, hey, I'm scared, but I need to learn how to use a firearm. I'm never shot before, but interested, or I want to buy a gun I've never shot before at all, or I'm terrified because I've had this bad experience with firearms and I need to get over it and I need to be able to protect myself. I love taking those kinds of shooters and helping them, right? Baby steps, stay, step by step, get used to the firearms, get confident with them, know how to shoot them, not be scared of them. I love to help them figure out how to navigate the ins and the outs of the firearm and the ammo and what ammo goes in what gun and how do we buy ammo and where do we buy ammo and what are the laws concerning ammo and firearms. And I've even gone as far as to going into town and helping them shop for a handgun, right? I go there so the guy behind the counter, not everyone's like this, but I go there so the guy behind the counter doesn't lead them astray, doesn't take advantage of them. I love doing that. I love helping the new shooter. And then I love taking them along and having them learn how to shoot and seeing them progress and helping them progress from non-shooter to concealed carry holder to, draw and shoot to just getting super excited to learning all this stuff, from handguns clear up to rifles to, in January, they bought one gun. And then by August, they got 5 or 6 handguns, right? Absolutely fantastic. I'm really passionate about that part of my business. I love the new shooters. I love helping them. It brings me such satisfaction, right? And I think honestly, that's why I got into this, because that's actually what got me started. Is I would take new shooters out, and I really enjoyed taking new shooters or someone who is apprehensive or hated firearms or listened to all the bull crap they heard in the media about them, and take them out and show them how fun it is, and showing them that what they heard in the media really wasn't true. I mean, you have to decide for yourself, but it's typically not true. And I just enjoy that part of this whole business. I really do. And I think that honestly is my little niche market. I absolutely love that. So yeah, just something I've been thinking about. Thought I'd throw it out there for everyone. So you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I have got to go and get some other stuff done tonight. But I appreciate you listening. And I know this wasn't probably the best podcast episode that I've ever done. I know I've done better, and I know I could be a little bit more prepared, but I do appreciate you hanging in there with me. And I this coming weekend, hopefully, I know the guy that is coming down for the Tactical Performance Center. He said that he would actually jump in and do a podcast with me. So I'm hoping that offer is still there, the instructor, and we'll get him on the air. We can ask him some. I can ask him some questions and see what he has to say on a few things. I think that would be. I think that would be kind of a fun show to do, something I don't get to do all the time. So I look forward to that. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Share this with your family and your friends. Share it on social media. I really do appreciate that. I love scrolling through Facebook and seeing people that I know, friends on Facebook, have that actually grabbed this and they've shared it with their family and friends. And I know it doesn't always get a lot of likes or shares after that, but I sure do appreciate that. And if you just keep on doing that, that's absolutely fantastic to me. That makes my day when I see that. But if you guys got any comments or questions, let me know. You can call me. You can text me, area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And the kids are almost, if your kids aren't back in school, they will be soon. I know mine are, and I love my kids, but it's kind of nice to have them back in school. So I am going to enjoy this full week of school coming up, and I'm going to get some other stuff done. So I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for listening. Bye. Okay, guys, I am out of here. Thanks for joining me on YouTube Live.